Ratton families, it's Miss Massey. I am so glad that you have joined me today for Coffee with the Counselor. Today, we are going to talk about ways to encourage your children to be safe on the internet. This information can be applicable for online gaming, cell phones, and even tablet devices. After we're done with this, I hope that you go down below and you can see books and websites and other safety tips that you can use with your family. So, let's get started. As you consider talking to your children about internet safety, let's first talk about how to discuss this topic with your child. An important thing to keep in mind when talking to your child about internet safety is to make it a conversation. Ask them what they already know about internet safety and to share their ideas of how they can handle their devices safely and responsibly. Another important thing to keep in mind when talking about internet safety with your child is to keep the tone positive. Remind your child that interacting on the internet can be a privilege that they and their friends enjoy. When people are not being safe on the internet, it is no longer enjoyable for everyone. Talk to your child about how the internet is a place and how, just like any other place, everyone on the internet has the right to feel comfortable and safe. It is also important to be clear about what is okay and what is not okay on the internet. Leaving as little gray area as possible will help your child and you feel more confident that they have the tools they need to interact online. So, internet safety tips. Now, let's talk a little bit about some specific internet safety tips that I would like you to share with your children. When using the internet, chats, online games, apps, etc., many children aren't sure what's okay to share. A great way to remember the things that we should not share is the acronym YAPI. YAPI stands for your full name, address, passwords, phone number, or your upcoming plans. If your child is being asked to share these things, they should double check with you to see if it's safe to share. It is also important to talk about your child or talk to your child about interacting with strangers. Just like in person, our interaction with strangers online should be limited, and we, of course, should not share any personal information. Remind your child never to meet anyone in person that they only know from the internet, especially by themselves. If they have met someone that they would like to see in person, remind them that they need to tell you, and if you think it's safe, you and your child can go together. But it's most important for your child to remember to tell an adult if they see anything that makes them feel unsafe or uncomfortable. This can include bullying behavior, inappropriate content, etc. Just like in person, if they see something, they need to say something. This is a great time to help your child identify who they can talk to in different scenarios, like at school or a babysitter's house or an after school program or sports, if there are any concerns. I always tell the kids, you don't know who you are talking to on the internet. They may say that they are 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, and they could be in their 40s or 30s and be a predator. And our children aren't thinking about people who want to hurt children. So, of course, they're thinking, oh, they really are 10 years old. And so they give, hey, we're going to the park in McKinney tomorrow. You should join us. Um, Things like that. And when I worked at the crisis center before I started teaching, we actually had a couple of kids who tried to go visit somebody that they met online. And of course, both times it was not who the kids thought they were. So our kids are very vulnerable, especially at the elementary stage. And so I just highly, highly suggest that you really pay attention to who they're talking to and what information they are giving, or even make it a rule not to talk to strangers on the internet, just like we wouldn't let them talk to strangers in person. Okay, so setting and enforcing expectations. A common question from parents is how to set and enforce expectations regarding technology. While this can definitely vary from family to family and child to child, here are a few suggestions. The first being, again, collaboration with your child. When developing a plan for technology use, consider your child's input. Don't let them make up the rules by any means, but just talk to your child and see if you guys can together come up with a good game plan. Although you are the parent and ultimately are the one to set and enforce expectations, getting input from your child can help them feel valued in the process. A great way to do this is to create a technology plan or contract that you both contribute to. Parents also commonly ask how they can monitor their children's technology usage. Unfortunately, there isn't a clear answer. It can depend on the child's age, maturity level, and what type of technology they are using. The important thing is to be clear with your child about the fact that you are the parent and that you have the right to monitor what they are doing online. When talking about expectations for technology, it is important again to involve your child. Ask your child what he or she thinks the consequences for misusing should be. Establishing these expectations ahead of time will allow for fewer arguments and misunderstandings if or when something does happen. Going back to the technology usage, a lady that I used to work for, I really liked her technology plan with her kids. Um, they had to turn in their phones when they got home. Uh, their phones were only supposed to be used to call parents, grandparents, family, unless they had permission otherwise. But when they got home and their parents were home, then they turned it into the basket. And then, of course, the parents also had the parent controls turned on so they could see who they were texting, what they were searching on the internet, and all that stuff. And then for games, they were only allowed 30 minutes a day to play games. But they then allowed them to save up their time per day. So, say, like on the weekend, they could spend 2 hours at one time playing a game. Or if they knew that they were having a friend come over, then they would save up their time so they could play those 2 hours on Saturday. So I loved that because it gave the child a choice. Yes, you can either take a break and play your game now for 30 minutes, or you can save that 30 minutes for the next day and do an hour, or you can save up your time for the weekend and have a couple of hours to play then. And then, of course, they knew what games they were playing and stuff like that. Um, and then, um, the same with on the phone. They would have checks every now and then. And because, again, they were the parents and the kids knew what the boundaries were. Lastly, it is important to keep an open dialogue with your child about technology. Check in frequently to see how your child is doing and if they have any questions. Also, if you have maybe a family computer or laptop or something like that, um, have them use it downstairs in the family room or the dining room table or somewhere where you can walk by and glance and see what they're on, um, or whatever, not just in their room with the door closed and you never have any idea what they're doing or looking at or reading or playing. If you make it more centralized where you can keep an eye on it, that will also help with the safety. I know internet safety can be a scary thing to talk about, and sometimes, so I appreciate you taking the time to learn more on how to support your children in this way. Um, if you look down below, there is a video that I suggest over internet safety. Um, she's called Safe Side Super Chick, and she also has another video for stranger danger. I highly recommend both of those videos. When I worked at the crisis center, I shared them a lot and showed them a lot with classrooms I was working with, but then also teaching first grade here at Ratton, we would show the stranger danger one every year, but the internet one is very good as well. And so that's also something, maybe if you have maybe third grade and under, that's a really, really good thing y'all could watch as a family. Um, and then, like I said, I have other, make sure you click on the pictures because they take you to different websites and ideas and things like that. So I hope that this gave you some things to think about and some ideas and tips over keeping our kids safe on the internet, because the internet really is, and it can be, a scary place. It can also have some great things that we can learn from, or um, entertainment, or uh, keeping up with family. That's one of my favorite things. But it also has a lot of scary and negative things, just like the real world. So I hope you guys have a great day, and reach out if you have any other questions or if I can help you with anything. So I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.